All right, it's 5:08. We're listening to the Angry Chicken. Let's work on this base.
Welcome to my hobby desk. We're going to do more than work on this base. We're going to finish this base. We are going to start with a dry brush of glacial blue. We're going to hit the edges of the rock, and we're going to do all over the blue portion of the base. This is the same recipe we used for all the other pieces of basing material and the terrain that I play Kill Team on. We're going to follow this up with a very light dry brush of a model color white, only on the ice parts. We're going to fiddle with this a bit and find a good position. I think it's going to work out with him going on the rock, and I want to leave a good amount of space where I can do some ice effect. So this guy's going to be kind of off to the side, and then I think the way the arms are going to set, he's even going to be kind of looking off in that direction. So once we have a good place, I'm going to just poke the pins in some of the yellow glaze that's still on my palette, and now I know where to drill my holes. Here is my pin vise, so we're going to pop this off the holder, and we're just going to drill a hole right through the texture and through the base. I'm going to hold it in such a way that I don't drill it into my finger, and then we're going to do the same thing on the piece of concrete, and that's going to take probably a much longer because it's a good thick piece, and I haven't done this before. So we'll see what happens with the concrete. I don't think it'll split. I think we'll get a nice hole right through it. It did take quite a while to get through the piece of concrete. I did a test fit just to see if I had to go all the way through, and I did. So we went back and drilled a little bit more. The fit was pretty good. The boots did not lay flat, but I just planned on hiding that with some snow flock. And once I got a good fit in, I used super glue to complete the pinning process. I'm just going to dip each pin in a little bit of super glue and then push it back into the base. And then I'll take a toothpick and I will apply super glue underneath the base where the pins are poking through. We're going to throw this guy back up on a holder because we're going to mix up some snow flock and do some ice effects on this base. So this is going to be the same snow flock that we've mixed up in the past, both for our Deathwatch and for our terrain pieces. So here's my shot glass, and here's my snow flock, and then we're going to use some PVA glue, and we're going to use some Vallejo gloss varnish, and we are going to get some water. And this time I'm actually going to start with the snow flock because I'm running out and I want to make sure that I don't mix up too much. But we're going to put the snow flock in the shot glass. We're going to add some water, some of the PVA glue, and some gloss varnish. And once we get a good consistency, we are going to slop this onto our base. This was still a little too slushy, so we put some more snow in, and I did end up making more than I needed, but I still didn't overdo it quite like I did last time, so it worked out. We're just going to start applying this around the front portion of the base. We're also going to use this to hide the fact that the boots aren't sitting flat, especially the one that's going to be down on near the ice, and a little bit over the rock, and just enough to get a good texture. Now we're going to finish this off with an ice effect. So here's our distressed crackle paint. And we're just going to crack this open and grab a large synthetic brush. And we're going to dab this in this section that I didn't put snow on. We're going to get a good thick layer, not so much that it starts running off, but enough so that we're going to get some really good cracks. All right, now that is going to take quite a while to dry, so I'm going to let that sit throughout the course of the day. And while that is done, we're going to go ahead and put this guy together. So here is the chapter badge arm. I'm just going to pull it off the sticky tack and try to get this in a good spot. And before I do the plastic glue, it took me a while in fiddling with it to kind of get a good flat connection and posed the way that I wanted it, but with enough fiddling, and then even once I got the plastic glue on, it gave me some time to fiddle, and we got it in a good spot. When you have parts like arms that have a natural tendency to slide down, you have to hold the plastic glue a little bit longer, but the tackiness of it will hold it together, and that looks pretty good. So we're going to do the same thing for the silver arm. This one goes on a lot smoother. I don't have to fiddle with it very much to get a good position. And then we're just going to pop it off the sticky tack, put a little glue on it, and we're going to get that guy right up on the other side. Now for the head, so we have this pinned with a little super glue, so I'm just going to kind of twist it back and forth very gently, and it'll break the seal and pop right off the top. And you can see there's the hole, so there's none of the pin left over. And then we're going to take a little plastic glue and put it in this top portion. Then we're going to just drop the head in, and we'll have plenty of time to move it around and position it where we would like it to be, and give it enough time for the plastic glue to hold it in that position. And I think we're going to have this guy kind of facing or looking over where he's shooting the grappling hook. Last piece is the backpack, and it is molded to have a really easy fit here. There's only one way it could go on, so we're just going to put a little bit of plastic glue in the indent with the backpack, and we'll just have to hold it onto the back for a little while until the glue can take hold. And then once this guy is together, it'll take about 30 minutes for all of the plastic glue to finish the bond. You can see there as I was holding the head slid, so we're going to have to kind of move that back in place. But we have to let this sit for quite a while anyway to let the cracks dry, so the plastic glue will have plenty of time to create that weld that's going to give it a very, very strong hold. We are so close to having this guy done. We just have to wait for the cracks to dry and form. Then I'm going to hit this with a matte varnish tonight, and we will do the final finishing touches in the morning. That is all that I had time for. If you hobbied this morning and made a video, please link it in the comments below. I would love to take a look at it. We will probably do a real quick kind of finishing touches tomorrow, and then we will move on to our next project of speed painting descent. Till then, have a good one.